common council is in hot water with his colleagues after sending a letter.
The leader of ISIS is also speaking out to his followers as Iraqi troops bear down on the city of Mosul.
Sports and ratings history made in Cleveland last night will have full coverage on the Chicago Cubs' curse being broken.
Citrus TV News starts right now.
From the Citrus TV studios, this is Citrus TV News live at 6, your campus news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Citrus TV News live at 6. I'm Alex Amico.
And I'm Nick Papantonis, filling in for Jackie Prager. SUNY ESF faculty are expected to make a vote of no confidence for their president today.
And that's our top story tonight. The faculty of SUNY ESF is making a big decision today. They are expected to make a vote of no confidence in President Quentin Wheeler. Wheeler took over the school in January of 2014 following the resignation of Nick Murphy. Many faculty members expressed concern over Wheeler's leadership since he took over. Among the issues raised were disputes with faculty and diversity in admissions. Some staff and students will vote as well. Results of the vote will be released on Friday. And the School of Education is hosting a symposium to address systemic poverty in Syracuse. Multiple roundtable discussions will focus on topics like development, research, and community partnerships. The keynote speaker is Carol Naughton. You must register online before the event, which takes place at Deneen Hall from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. tomorrow.
College Choice says Whitman is the 4th best undergraduate business school in New York. The rankings are based off of sources like placement data and U.S. News and World Report. NYU topped the list at number 1. And a new exhibition is opening at the Point of Contact Gallery on West Fayette Street tonight. It's called Within Walls, and it's by Karen Weissman. The artwork follows the natural pattern of growth and decay in nature using concrete molds. A reception will be held from 6 to 8 tonight with refreshments.
Gustav Deutsch and Hannah Scheimek will be at Huntington Beard Krause to accompany the screening of their film, Shirley, Visions of Reality. All students are welcome to join tonight from 7 p.m. to 9:30. And the Office of Multicultural Affairs and the Native Student Program are hosting a traditional Haudenosaunee dance. Tonight, a traditional Mohawk opening will be recited by singer Regis Cook in the Mohawk language. The event is free and will take place at 7 o'clock at Sky Barn on South Campus.
Happening now, a social justice themed carnival at the Shine Student Center. It has games and the usual carnival fun and a chance at a Chipotle gift card. The New York Public Interest Research Group is hosting the event. The jamboree ends at 8 o'clock. And the Haitian American Student Association and the Caribbean Student Association are hosting a Caribbean comedy night. It features Caribbean entertainers Key Marley and a Haitian V. It's also taking place at Shine Student Center, and that starts at 6:45. Tickets are $5 each.
Republican John Katko and Democrat Colleen Deacon are campaigning today after last night's heated debate. Both candidates for the 24th congressional seat blamed the other for creating negative ads that misrepresented them and their views. Katko and Deacon then spoke about issues such as immigration reform, Social Security, I-81, health care, and national security.
Controversy reigns among Syracuse Common Councilors over police conduct. Citrus TV reporter Paul Mancano tells us which laws councilors say police are breaking.
A debate raged in City Hall Wednesday afternoon.
And although I do understand where you're coming from, and I do.
But the Common Council wasn't arguing over a new law.
It is not something I was looking to have a committee discussion over. It is not a law.
The debate was over a letter that Councilor Khalid Bey penned to representatives in state and federal government. The topic was police brutality. Several councilors had objections to it, and the loudest voice of criticism came from former police chief Stephen P. Thompson.
I find it to be not as coherent as it should be.
Councilor Bey's 4-page letter claims some law enforcement officers consistently violate the 4th, 8th, 13th, and 14th Amendments when making arrests. In particular, Bey says that the 4th Amendment is violated by stop and frisk laws, or as he likes to call them, stop and kill laws. That's the type of language that drew some criticism from some of his fellow counselors.
The tone of this letter, when you talk about police officers killing people, first of all, it's not my belief that they are killing people.
But others applaud Bay for the letter.
Him addressing these policies is a step in the right direction and is a necessary one.
Allie Wayne is an activist for the Syracuse Peace Council, a group that has consistently spoken out against police brutality. Wayne says Counselor Bay's letter shouldn't be taken as a personal attack.
And I understand that police officers may feel like they are under a certain degree of scrutiny right now. This is not about them as individual officers, it's about the institution.
Counselor Bay sent the letter to several leaders in city government, and he says he received no negative feedback. He expects the resolution to pass when the council votes on Monday. Paul Mancano, Citrus TV News.
The Common Council will vote on Bay's letter on Monday.
New York State Police arrested over 200 drivers for driving while intoxicated over 5 days. The campaign began last Friday and ended on Tuesday. The government's aim is to reduce deaths and injuries caused by motorists driving drunk. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo commended the police for their efforts. The campaign was funded by the governor's Traffic Safety Committee and Stop DWI programs. And New York Governor Andrew Cuomo announced a uniform financial aid award information sheet from higher education institutions. This regulation will help students compare financial aid packages from New York schools. Student loans are now the second largest consumer financial obligation behind mortgages. The sheet summarizes a school's cost, financial aid option, and graduation rate.
The man who allegedly shot and killed a man on McKinley Avenue last week has been arrested. Police say 31-year-old Jermaine Jennings turned himself in to detectives on Tuesday. A press release says he's being charged with second-degree murder. A woman was also wounded in the shooting, but she's been released from the hospital. An investigation is still ongoing. And police are charging a Rochester man with second-degree harassment for allegedly shoving an autistic teen. Martin McDonald turned himself in today. The teenager was running in a cross-country race when police say McDonald pushed him to the ground. Officers say McDonald was afraid for his safety. He faces up to 15 days in prison. The arraignment happens Friday. And after the break, the trial of a well-known police brutality race starts today.
And the UK just hit a big obstacle on its road to Brexit.
We'll be back in 2 minutes.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there to race. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Go, okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Authorities are speaking out today about the fatal ambush of 2 police officers in Iowa. Both were shot while sitting in their police cruisers.
Police say they are filing charges against Scott Michael Green by the end of today. The Des Moines chief of police also announcing authorities have found Green's car and the gun they suspect was used in the attack.
What happened yesterday was calculated murder of 2 law enforcement officers. Plain and simple. That's the reality. If someone wants to argue that reality with me, my office is 2 doors down. Nobody deserved this. Tony and Justin did not deserve this. The Des Moines Police Department and the Urbandale Police Department did not deserve this. The communities that we protect and represent did not deserve this. But most importantly, there are 2 families that have been torn apart, and they certainly did not deserve this.
The murder trial of a white former police officer in South Carolina kicks off today. Michael Slager is facing charges for killing Walter Scott, an unarmed black man who was shot in the back while running away from a traffic stop.
That happened in April. If convicted, Slager faces up to life in prison. Penn State is facing fines of more than $2 million for their cover-up in the Jerry Sandusky case. This is the result of a 5-year investigation that began after Sandusky's arrest.
The U.S. Department of Education said Penn State ignored its duties in handling complaints about Sandusky. Several administrators await trial for covering up reports about the coach. The fine is the largest issued for a violation of the Clery Act.
Two American service members are dead after a joint raid against senior Taliban commanders. NATO says the Americans killed and 2 others wounded in the attack were part of a, quote, train, advise, and assist mission in northern Afghanistan.
The raid also killed 26 Afghan civilians, and the Afghan government is investigating the attack, which could have been caused by an airstrike. The 2 Taliban commanders were killed in the fighting among 65 insurgents.
And leaders of ISIS have released a message to his followers, encouraging them to keep up the fight for Mosul. The Islamic State is battling Iraqi forces over control of the city for the 17th day.
The leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, distributed a video via the group's media arm, calling them to remain resilient and fight to the death. Iraqi troops continue to march toward the northern city as a major battle in the war against ISIS gets closer with each day.
More than 200 refugees escaping Libya may have been killed following an accident in a rubber boat on Wednesday. The 29 survivors from that boat approached the UN Refugee Agency to report the 2 shipwrecks.
The incident brings up the annual death count to more than 4,000 total deaths, the highest on record. Britain's High Court brings the process of leaving the European Union to a halt. Claimants challenge the plan in a case with major constitutional implications that hinges on the balance of power between Parliament and the government.
Prime Minister Theresa May once said she will invoke Article 50 of the EU treaty by the end of March. When that does happen, it will launch nearly 2 years of exit negotiations.
The Egyptian pound saw a 48% decrease against the U.S. dollar on Thursday. The crash comes from the decision to allow the currency to float flexibly.
Right now, a dollar can purchase more than 13 Egyptian pounds. That's a considerable difference from the 9 pounds yesterday. Economists are hopeful that the crash is temporary.
Coming up on Citrus TV News, the details of a new investigation into Wells Fargo.
And we'll tell you how badly last night's World Series finale is smashing ratings records.
This morning started as a washout day, but luckily the storm's cleared by lunchtime. Taking a look at your quad cam outside, you would be able to see nice this evening. The sun is setting. Luckily, clouds are bouncing back. I'll talk about that and the weekend weather coming up my Citrus TV 5-day forecast.
Taking care of a family member can lead to plenty of questions. Fortunately, there's a place to get the answers, for them and for you. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. the Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
I'll tell you, Alex, I was sitting by the window last night and the skies just opened up.
I was not expecting that. I was coming out of class at like 8:30, walked outside, pouring rain, forgot my umbrella, walked home, got soaked. Not a pleasant way to end the evening.
Well, Brendan Tierney is here in the studio with our full weather forecast. Brendan, how's it looking?
Well, luckily the rain has gotten out of the area. It was out of here by about 1 p.m. completely. Taking a look at your temperatures today. 56 degrees was your high, 38 was your low earlier today. We did have some passing showers. Some of them were severe, as you just talked about. There were some downpours at times. The bigger story was the wind. Winds were gusting up to 20 miles an hour. And that was knocking a lot of the leaves that were in the trees starting to change colors down to the ground. So you're going to see a big increase in your allergens over the next week. Taking a look across the region, we're in the mid 50s right now, about average for this time of the year. 54 here in Syracuse, 54 down in Ithaca. Cortland's a little bit colder at 52 degrees. Your radar showing nice and dry here on campus at the moment. We'll see most of the storms move off to the east and broken up. Unfortunately, this is still part of a larger system. As you take a look at your surface analysis map, you're able to see a cold front is moving through the area and the low pressure is finally moving out of here, and there's some high pressure behind it, but unfortunately before that gets here, there is a little more precipitation that will be coming to campus. Taking a look at your future radar, you're able to see some storms in the area overnight into tomorrow. Luckily tomorrow, not that bad of a day, so just have a jacket with you tonight. I don't think you need one tomorrow at all. Your forecast for tonight, 38 degrees, mostly cloudy with some rain. The winds will be picking up late again tonight. And then take a look at your Citrus TV 5-day forecast. You're able to see tomorrow, Friday, 46 degrees, much cooler and windy as well. For Saturday, 51 degrees, some chance of rain coming in the evening. Sunday, 50 degrees. The sun finally comes back out, and we're sunny for Monday as well. 57 degrees Tuesday. 25% chance of some rain. That's mainly in the evening, but it's going to be a little more cloudy than we saw Sunday and Monday.
Well, Brendan, I will be reporting from Rock the Dome for tomorrow's show. Am I going to be in the rain?
Luckily, I don't think you're in the rain during the show if you're going to or from the Dome. A chance of rain earlier in the day, but it should be clearer in the evening.
So we've got plenty of rain coming up. We've got a couple days where we've had some bad rain when we woke up and we went to bed. When's the next chance of snow going to be, Brendan?
Luckily, we were tracking some snow for this weekend yesterday. The temperatures have bumped up a little bit, so it's looking like it's going to be rain instead. No more white powder for at least another week or so.
All right, Brendan,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thank you.
A new report from the American Cancer Society claims the number of female deaths from cancer could rise to 5.5 million annually by 2030. The jump would be a 60% increase from 2012. That's when the annual death rate was 3.5 million. The biggest leap in deaths is expected to come from lower and middle income countries. Women in those countries are expected to live longer, but they're going to be participating in unhealthier habits like poor diets and smoking. And there's been a new discovery in the research to fight CTE. Researchers studied the brains of former football players and found a link between CTE and brain inflammation. That's already linked to Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. CTE, on the other hand, is believed to be caused by repeated head trauma and symptoms like memory loss, violent mood swings, and depression. 96% of brains deceased football players who donated their bodies showed signs of CTE.
Well, the SEC has officially launched an investigation into Wells Fargo's sales practices. The bank has nearly doubled their funds to set aside for legal fees as the SEC joined numerous agencies and states that are probing into the opening of fake accounts by Wells Fargo employees. The company has fired more than 5,000 employees and has set aside $1.7 billion to deal with legal issues. The ratings from last night's World Series game are in, and Game 7 generated a 25.2 rating, which indicates that up to 40 million people may have tuned in to watch the Cubs beat the Indians. This was the highest rated baseball telecast since Game 7 of the 2001 World Series between the Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Yankees, which came just a few months after the September 11th attacks. Fox is predicting that last night's game will be the most watched telecast of any kind on a single network since the Super Bowl.
Coming up after the break, two powerhouse Syracuse sports teams took the field to open their conference tournaments over the past 24 hours. I'll tell you what happened in those contests. Plus, the Cubs and Indians played in what might have been the greatest Game 7 of all time last night. Alex has spoiled it, but I've got the full recap coming up in just a few minutes. Stick with us.
Well, Thomas, you've got prediabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have prediabetes. Big time.
Here's your check. Oh, you got it.
You know, since I got rid of my car, I really enjoy walking.
Okay. Got it. No.
Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates.
Oh, you're home early. You live with your mom?
That'll set your game back a few years. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
After the best season in program history, Syracuse men's soccer is looking to defend its ACC title this year. The Orange ranked 7th in the country, but just 5th in the conference. And SU kicked off the ACC tourney at home against Pittsburgh. Ian McIntyre's team looked like a group that's hungry to get back to the College Cup. First up, Chris Nanko, the Orange's leading scorer, attacking Pittsburgh's goalie Jacob Ruth, cannot corral the ball cleanly. Nanko pressures him, deflects the ball into the back of the net. 1-0 Syracuse just 10 minutes into the game. And then just 10 minutes later, it's Nanko once again, dances around a defender in the box, presses LB plus B, a finesse shot, bounces in off a Panther. Would have been cooler if it was off the post, but instead it is off the Pittsburgh player. Counts the same, 2-0 Syracuse 20 minutes into the contest. Now when I say Syracuse was lights out last night, I really mean it. Power outage at SU Soccer Stadium lasted for about an hour, and when the lights came back on, the Orange picked up right where it left off. Jonathan Hagman, 64th minute, one-timer from the box for goal number 3 for Syracuse, and when it rains, it pours for Syracuse Soccer. Sergio Camargo from the parking lot lets one go. Hagman is there to clean it up after it bounces off the crossbar. That was the last goal of the game. Syracuse clobbers Pittsburgh 4-0 and moves on to face Clemson in the quarterfinals of the ACC tournament. Elsewhere in SU athletics, the field hockey team is out of the ACC tournament. Earlier today, the Orange got bounced by Wake Forest in overtime 4-3. Now, the game was technically at a neutral site, but it was played on the Demon Deacons' home field in Winston-Salem. Wake took the lead twice during regulation, but goals from Rose Weirs and then one from Lise Lagerwey kept Syracuse in the contest. The game went to an extra period where Wake Forest scored after about 10 minutes. It's the first time that the Orange has failed to pick up a W in the tournament since joining the ACC 3 years ago, and SU made the conference title in each of the past 2 seasons. Despite the loss, Syracuse is pretty much a lock for the NCAA tournament. 18 teams get invited, and the Orange is ranked second in the nation. In professional sports, the Falcons travel to Tampa Bay tonight seeking some revenge in an NFC South showdown. The Buccaneers kicked off the season with a victory in Atlanta back in early September, but the Falcons rebounded and now lead the division at 5-3. And it took 108 years, 7 games, and 10 innings, but the Cubs, they're finally World Series champions. Last night in Game 7 of the Fall Classic, Chicago traded blows with Cleveland for nearly 4.5 hours before the Cubbies pulled away in the first extra frame. Chicago's Dexter Fowler began the contest with a leadoff home run to straightaway center, and the Cubs opened up a 5-1 lead in the 5th inning. Indians did storm back and tied the game at 6 with a dinger from Rajai Davis in the 8th inning. Then in the 10th, Ben Zobrist cemented his spot as World Series MVP with an RBI double, and Miguel Montero drove in the insurance run. So the longest championship drought in professional sports history is over, but unfortunately, some Chicago fans never got to see their team win a championship. One of those people is legendary broadcaster Harry Carey, who spent 16 years as the voice of the Cubs. After the game, Carey's grandson Josh imagined how Harry would have reacted last night.
What would your grandfather have said?
Holy cow. First off, that's the first thing he would have said. Then he would have said finally. Then he would have taken off his headset, gone down to Wrigleyville, and probably had about a Budweiser, about 12 of them as well.
Drew, I mean, what a game that was. Yeah. It was just an incredible, incredible game. What do you think was the biggest factor behind that 3-1 comeback for the Cubs?
Well, I mean, I think it's karma for Cleveland, right? After all those jokes about the Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead, now the Cubs do it to the Indians, so it kind of feels right. But how about 2016 in sports? 2 crazy championships in the NBA and the MLB.
It's been a great year, Drew. Thank you so much. Citrus TV News will be back in just 90 seconds.
Not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Looking for these? You drive buzzed. It could be one very expensive ride.
First, you gotta make bail. Then pay me to get your car back.
Your insurance premiums will go through the roof.
And my legal fees just keep adding up. All told, it could end up costing you $10,000.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
So, Brendan, what are we looking like when we wake up tomorrow?
Tomorrow, not the best day, but definitely better than waking up this morning. Taking a look at your Citrus TV day planner, you're able to see 41 degrees at 9 a.m., 44 by noon. Not too bad for Rock the Dome in the evening, 40 degrees. Windy, a bit cooler with some clouds giving way to sun.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thanks so much. On this day in 1948, the Chicago Tribune announced the wrong winner of the presidential election. Candidates Thomas Dewey and Harry S. Truman were fighting for the White House.
The Tribune and many other newspapers predicted that Dewey was going to win, but that's not what happened. Truman won by traveling on a 22,000-mile campaign trail using railroad tracks to meet with the public. After he won, Truman took a picture holding that newspaper, announcing Dewey as the winner as a joke.
That's all the news for now. Thank you for joining us this evening.
You can follow Citrus TV News on all social media and check us out at citrustv.com for more news. I'm Nick Papantonis.
And I'm Alex Amico. Have a great night, Syracuse.